Turbulence in the skies as a Southwest flight makes a dramatic dive. Ghislaine Maxwell drops names in DOJ talks, and President Trump heads to Scotland for a mix of diplomacy and golf. Plus, your trivia question of the day: what is the world's most venomous sea creature? I'll have the answer at the end of the show. It's Sunday, July 27th, and this is the Flyover Podcast. Welcome to the Flyover Podcast, taking you above the noise for an unbiased, high-altitude view of today's headlines with daily coverage that's honest and refreshing. Let's cruise the news and land the facts. Good morning and happy Sunday. I'm Amy Hess, your weekend host here at the Flyover. Whether you're headed to church, taking it slow with that second cup of coffee, or just catching up on the headlines, I'm so glad you're here. We've got your quick, no-spin news download to start the day right. So let's get to it and get ready for takeoff. We're starting your Sunday with the stories making headlines across the country and around the world. President Trump is overseas this weekend, spending July 25th through the 29th in Scotland for a mix of diplomacy and golf. He's scheduled to meet with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, EU Commissioner President Ursula von der Leyen, and Scottish's First Minister John Swinney, with energy and tariffs expected to be key topics. He's also set to inaugurate a new golf course in Aberdeenshire and play at his Turnberry Resort. Security is tight with drone bans, road closures, and protests underway in Edinburgh and beyond. Meanwhile, Ghislaine Maxwell is reportedly named around 100 people in 2 days of interviews with the Justice Department. Her lawyer says she was granted limited immunity as long as she tells the truth. President Trump, when asked in Scotland about a possible pardon, said he, quote, hasn't thought about it, and distanced himself from the DOJ's decision. And finally, an alarming moment in the skies over Southern California. A Southwest flight from Burbank to Las Vegas dropped nearly 500 feet midair to avoid a potential collision with a military-style jet. Passengers say it felt like a sudden freefall. 2 flight attendants were injured in the turbulence, but the flight continued and landed safely in Vegas. An FAA investigation is now underway. Today's episode is brought to you by Fatty 15. All right, let's take a quick break to talk about something I care a lot about: healthy aging. As a certified professional wellness coach, I've spent years helping people improve their energy, sleep, and overall health. And one of the biggest challenges we talk about is inflammaging, which is that low-level chronic inflammation that speeds up how we age. So when I heard about Fatty 15, I knew I had to learn more. Fatty 15 is the first essential fatty acid to be discovered in over 90 years, and it supports healthy aging at the cellular level. It was actually discovered while studying aging dolphins for the U.S. Navy, and what they found has really changed how we think about longevity, which as I age becomes more and more important to me. C15, the key ingredient in Fatty 15, helps repair and strengthen your cells, and it's been linked to better metabolic health, smoother functioning joints, deeper sleep, and even healthier skin and hair. It's pure, vegan-friendly, and 100% science-backed. I know a lot of wellness professionals are excited about what this could mean for the future of aging well. If you want to give it a try, go to fatty15.com/flyover and use code FLYOVER to get 15% off their 90-day starter kit. That's fatty15.com/flyover with the code FLYOVER at checkout. Or just click the link in the show notes. Now, here are some extra stories just for you, our podcast listener. You won't find these in the email. All right, first up, a growing international rift over free speech. The U.S. State Department is calling out France for its criminal investigation into Elon Musk's social media platform, X, labeling it an attack on freedom of expression. French prosecutors have reportedly called X an organized crime group and want access to the platform's algorithm and real-time data to investigate potential foreign election interference. French authorities say the probe aims to protect electoral integrity by examining whether X's algorithm promotes foreign interference in French elections. Musk's team says the case is politically motivated and has refused to cooperate. It's a clash that could reshape how global governments treat tech platforms, so we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. Meanwhile, in Washington, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino says recent internal probes have left him, quote, shocked to his core. He didn't offer details, but emphasized the investigations are being handled by the book and that he's determined to uncover the truth. However, he provided no specifics on these discoveries and offered no timeline for public disclosure. And finally, a heartbreaking update out of New Mexico. Police have arrested an 18-year-old in connection with a fatal dorm shooting at the University of New Mexico. Authorities say the suspect opened fire during a late-night video game session at Mesa Vista Hall, killing a 14-year-old and injuring another teen. The tragedy unfolded during new student orientation, prompting lockdowns and renewed debate over youth gun violence. Just a devastating situation all around. Still ahead, Trump teases rebate checks, Gwyneth Paltrow jumps into a viral workplace scandal, plus the Milwaukee Brewers hit a major milestone, and ESPN viewership is soaring. But first, let's take a look at finance. All right, we're starting with money moves that have people talking. First up, President Trump says he's thinking about sending rebate checks to Americans using revenue from the new tariffs, which have already brought in $100 billion this year. He's also eyeing the national debt, but says a rebate could be in the mix for people of a certain income level. Nothing official yet, but could be a potential benefit for many. Meanwhile, remember that viral kiss cam moment that led to 2 high-profile resignations at Astronomer? The data company is now embracing the buzz, bringing in Gwyneth Paltrow as their new spokesperson in a slick social media video. And in case you forgot, Gwyneth is Coldplay frontman's Chris Martin's ex. So yeah, kiss cam de goop queen. Call it a PR masterstroke. We've got the video linked in today's show notes. And finally, Tesla is getting a little more wallet-friendly. The company confirmed a new budget Model Y is coming later this year, starting around $36,000. Want to take a sneak peek? We've got it linked in the show notes. All right, let's wrap with the numbers for last week. The Nasdaq ticked up 0.71%, the S&P 500 rose 1.33%, and the Dow gained 1.20%. Bitcoin was up as well, 0.9%, but gold dipped just under 0.5% to close at $3,334 an ounce. All right, time to check in on the world of sports. We're starting with a tough break for Yankees slugger Aaron Judge. The 2-time AL MVP is expected to miss time due to an elbow issue. He's set to meet with orthopedic surgeon Dr. Christopher Ahmad, best known for handling high-profile Tommy John cases. Over in the NFL, more than 100 players are facing fines for violating league rules by reselling their Super Bowl tickets at inflated prices. And ESPN is having a moment, averaging 712,000 viewers a minute across its 24-hour broadcast day. That's the highest viewership the network has seen in a decade. Not bad for a year without the World Cup or the Olympics. And in baseball, the Milwaukee Brewers just became the first National League team to notch 60 wins this season. They're riding high on an 11-game win streak. Brewers fans, now's your time to brag. All right, still ahead on the Flyover podcast, our Etc. section, your poll results, and the trivia answer, which might sting a little. Stick around. All right, let's wrap up with a few quick headlines before we land today's show. First up, the Trump administration is releasing over $6 billion in education grants after a policy review confirmed the funds align with new executive orders. The grants, used for everything from English language learning to adult literacy, had been temporarily frozen on July 1st as the administration audited programs for certain policy concerns. That pause sparked backlash, including lawsuits and a bipartisan letter from 10 GOP senators urging the funds be released. The Education Department now says, quote, guardrails are in place to ensure compliance with administration policy. Supporters say it's a move towards greater accountability, while critics say it adds red tape to programs that enjoy long-standing bipartisan support. Meanwhile, Paramount and Skydance are merging on August 7th after getting the green light from the Trump administration and the FCC. The $8 billion deal will form New Paramount, a big new player in the streaming, TV, and movie world. Get ready for some major shifts in what's on your TV. And finally, Elon Musk just opened a Tesla-themed diner in Hollywood, complete with EV charging stations, movie screens, and classic comfort food. If it's a hit, he says he plans to expand worldwide because, of course, he does. If you want to see it, we have photos linked in today's show notes. All right, now it's time for poll results where we turn the mic over to you. Yesterday, we asked, what was the coolest part of back-to-school shopping as a kid? And fresh school supplies came out on top, snagging 36% of the vote. New shoes took second with 24%, followed by trendy clothes at 18%. And apparently lunchboxes weren't such a hot item. Only 11% picked those, same as the other category. We did have a comment in the show notes about school supplies and getting organized with colored pencils, and I totally get that. My planner is color-coded, and it's literally the only way I can keep up with everyone's chaotic schedules. All right, now for today's question, it shifts gears just a little bit. Would you go to a Tesla-themed diner? Your choices are you in for the experience? Not interested? Or does it all depend on the food? Cast your vote, and I'll have the results and my answer tomorrow. All right, a little brain boost time. Here's today's trivia question. What is the world's most venomous sea creature? Believe it or not, the answer is the box jellyfish. These nearly invisible creatures are packed with up to 15 tentacles, each lined with 5,000 stinging cells that release a powerful toxin. The result? Sudden spikes in blood pressure, heart failure, and in some tragic cases, death before the swimmer even makes it back to shore. To put it in perspective, while shark attacks average about 6 fatalities a year, box jellyfish stings claim anywhere from 40 to 100 lives annually. They are beautiful to look at, but definitely not a beach buddy. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode of The Flyover. Now, normally, I'd say Ayla will be back for your weekday ride, but this week, I'll be filling in for her on Monday and Wednesday. And tomorrow just so happens to be her birthday. So be sure to join me Monday. We've got a fun little Ayla-inspired piece planned to celebrate the amazing person that she is. All right, thanks for spending part of your Sunday here with me, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow for the no-spin news you need to know. Take care, and as always, thanks for flying with us.